Hello there, Biakamuso desu and welcome to my review of Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight. After reviewing a game that pleased me so much as was the case with Theater Rhythm Final Barline, I was like, well, how about trying to play rhythm games of other game series? And I found Dancing in Starlight at a good price and decided to give it a shot. I do like the soundtrack. I don't feel like it's as addicting as the Final Fantasy soundtrack usually is for me. And I've played more Final Fantasies than Personas. I have only played Persona 5, not even the royal version of the game. But I was really interested in giving it a try because I did play Persona 5 and Dancing in Starlight is specifically about Persona 5. I don't think there's many rhythm games connected to Persona or Atlas. I do know that there's one that is Dancing in Moonlight, which is associated with Persona 3, but I didn't play Persona 3 and was actually afraid that the game would have some kind of spoilers. And why am I talking about spoilers? Because even though in Theater Rhythm we talked about spoilers because there's these very beautiful music videos where you can see scenes of the games, but it's very specific tracks in a very specific menu that you can easily avoid. Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight actually has a story mode, a story that justifies why the protagonist and his companions are in this specific situation dancing, and there's a story about it. So I will warn that it's not like it has major spoilers, but it does have a storyline, so I will talk about spoilers connected to this game specifically. Even though the game doesn't really give you spoilers about Persona 5 itself, it does more or less pick up at the end of Persona 5 because they are talking how they do mention it just by passing that the Phantom Thieves are no longer, and therefore it's kind of nice to be in a setting where they are needed again because they are called to this place by Caroline and Justine. And they explain to them that they have a sister that is doing a similar contest elsewhere with other prisoners, I guess, and they're kind of having this discussion where their sister claims that she has the better dancer, prisoner, whatever, and they are also trying to see if Joker has a good performance so he can outshine this prisoner of their sister. I assume it's the protagonist of Persona 3 because that's the only other game that is maybe connected to this universe, but I cannot say for sure since I haven't played that game. So you have there the entire team, they are all there to dance. It doesn't really matter if you have all the characters or not. They do all participate and you have tracks connected to the characters, but it doesn't really make a difference per se. So each character you will explore, I call it a story mode, but it's not like you're seeing cutscenes as you play. You basically play, and by doing certain things that are established for each episode of each character, you unlock cutscenes connected to that character story. And it's a total of 8 episodes if my memory doesn't fail me. After the 4th episode, the 4th conversation with the characters, so from 5th to the 8th, no, I think maybe episodes 5, 6, and 7 are exploring the characters' rooms in that realm, which I think are supposed to be copies of their actual rooms, in game. You are there looking for cards because I think those cards are messages from Caroline and Justine, and I think you collect them so you can unlock their story because besides your companions, you also have Caroline and Justine's story, which is connected to the overall plot of the game. And that's basically it. I did enjoy looking for the cards. In the beginning, I wasn't really understanding. I was kind of lost. I spent a lot of time in the first room because I was kind of lost as to what the card was supposed to look like, was I exactly looking for. But then I understood how it was supposed to work, and was easy to collect all the cards as long as I had access to the rooms. Honestly, the plot is very bland. They are like in this dream realm because they say that this is happening while they are sleeping, and when they wake up they will not remember anything that they have been through this. So it's basically to say that this is canon in the sense that it happens after Persona 5, but it's just a dream. It's not a mandatory game with a very important plot, so you can basically ignore this game because it's also non-canon, because it's like this fever dream that all the characters are having and none of them will remember when they wake up. So I guess it's pretty inconsequential. Caroline and Justine try to convince, the team that there's like a treasure for them to uncover if they are able to surpass, the other people that are dancing, which you don't know who they are because they don't mention the names at any point in the game. And yeah, I don't remember. I think like they were let down with what the treasure was supposed to be. I don't remember if they found the treasure or if they were just let down by what it ended up being. Not too sure. I think they were... Basically, it ends with, you get that pat on the back because you did a good job dancing, and yay, we go happy because we dip in friendships, but it doesn't have any consequence because we are all dreaming. It is what it is. So the story is not the reason I picked up this game, and I wasn't even counting on having any kind of story. I was interested in the rhythm game itself. And that moves us on to the gameplay mechanics. So this game is very different in mechanics to Theater Rhythm, for example, because I feel like this game is trying to emulate the Japanese arcades that are based on rhythm games. So you have this, I'm not sure if they have a specific name in Japan, but you have these Japanese arcades that look like, I call them washing machines because they look like washing machines, because the screen is circular in the center and they have these bright buttons around. And the rhythm game is very simple. You see the marker coming up to the buttons and you press the buttons, maybe more than one at a time. You can also touch the screen instead of the buttons. The buttons do a tack-tack sound, which is kind of satisfying, at least for me. But you can also, kind of use your hand just in the screen because it's a touch screen, so you can just do that. And they also put here the scratches, which is also something that you can see in the arcades because you can do this thing where you go all around. The scratches are not mandatory, they just add to the combo, but if you don't do them, it will not break your combo, which is a nice thing, it's like a plus that you have. And the buttons are very intuitive, so you see the buttons, it's 3 buttons on each side, and you also use the 3 buttons on the outer circle of your controller. The scratches are done with the joystick. Easy enough. The rhythm itself is also very well done. I have no complaints on that. The complaint that I have is on the tracks. I think I counted the tracks and I don't remember now the exact number, but I think the game has a total of 30 something tracks, like 32, 34, not too sure. And the problem here is it's already a very low number when compared to the full soundtrack of Persona 5, because I think it has 100 plus tracks. And it's even worse that some of the songs have more than one version. So you have like a remix version, a piano version, an instrumental version, the original version. There are a few songs that have like 4 different versions and you're playing the same song. So at a certain point you feel like that you are listening to the same thing over and over again. And because the characters demand certain things, like doing certain combos, playing in certain difficulties. Sometimes you are playing the same track in different difficulties so you can get the rewards or the achievements. So it becomes very repetitive. I was actually disappointed in that part because I like the soundtrack, and yes, they chose the most iconic tracks, but I feel like they kind of failed to take the opportunity of, putting more or less the full soundtrack. It didn't need to be 100 tracks, okay? But come on, 3 versions of the same song, and this happens to like 3 or 4 of them. You can also collect suits, you have different costumes that you unlock as you progress in the game. You also have challenges and aids. I don't remember the exact names, it's been a while since I last played the game. But basically you can turn them on and, the aids will help you go through a song more easily, and the challenges will make it more difficult, like you can, if you break the combo, you have a game over and stuff like that. You have also specific trophies, and on that side I will say you only have to check the description of the trophies and you will be on your road to get 100% of the trophies, because it's so easy that even I, the person with no trophies because I don't bother to 100% complete any game, I was able to do it. So if I'm able to do it, everyone is able to. And it's really easy, you just have to check the description of the trophies, and if you have any doubts, because there are some trophies that are like you have to watch every single dance that Joker does, and some of those dances, because you have like random dances appear as you replay the songs. Some of those dances you can only see in certain difficulties, so you have to at least play in that difficulty that certain song. But you have lists of that and it's pretty easy to find. So yeah, basically I think I've covered everything. Like I said, the story is not very memorable, it's just like this plot device so they keep you longer in the game, because that's what I felt like. I felt like I never thought that even though the game was well made and they were dancing in the background and they have the costumes, they are doing these nice dances with the rhythm of the song that you're playing, but you're not really paying attention per se because you're focusing on what you have to do. But they are nice, you have special songs with special outfits. It's interesting, it's captivating in a certain way, and the concept is very good. The rhythm game is also well done. I was not frustrated by the mechanics at all. But it's very few tracks, and it's just you repeating over and over again for you to get better scores, for you to complete the challenges that the characters demand of you to unlock their stories. It's just a lot of playing the same songs over and over to achieve those things. And I think that's the worst part of it. The costumes are very nice ideas. I loved a lot of the costumes, like Anne's succubus costume that was a treat. I think it was like the boudoir or whatever costumes, the Christmas costumes. They have a lot of interesting visuals. But that's it. The gameplay also works, but it kind of gets old after playing a few songs. So yeah, I do recommend, if you are a Persona 5 fan, that you at least check this game for yourself. Try to get the platinum because, like I said, it's pretty easy to do, pretty easy to complete 100% the game without even having to play all the songs in all difficulties, because you have this nightmare difficulty and it's really a nightmare. But yeah, it's pretty easy to do. So I do think they should have added more tracks and not so many times the same one with different, instrumentals, remixes, whatever. I did enjoy the story mode, and that did, give you an incentive to go back and do better at certain scores so you could unlock certain character stories, but the story is not very memorable. So these are my thoughts on this game. Share also your thoughts if you disagree with me on something, if there's something else you would like to point out about the game that you really enjoy. And if you want to check out all this content, I do play it first on my Twitch channel, so check out the link below. If you like this review, please leave a like on the video, subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. May music always be your life.